Okay, let's make a start. As I said earlier, we have got a really, really big day today. I don't know why your photo's not coming up. Okay, fair enough. All right, so our first speaker today, I want to welcome to the stage the co-architect of Black Salt 2026. The man behind the agency and the movement that we're all part of. An industry thought leader to leading one of Australia's fastest growing real estate networks, overseeing more than 5,000 sales annually. In this opening session, Manos is going to show you why motivation is overrated, momentum is everything, and how doing less with more intention can completely change your results. This is where we set the tone for your biggest year yet. Make some serious noise for Manos.
And when they don't go to plan, how we react to it is probably more important than actually what we are here for, isn't it? And that's what we're here for. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what happens to us, it's how we react to it. So I just want to play this video for the next 3 minutes.
If you're a good agent, it doesn't matter what the market is doing for the buyers or the sellers. Because if you can nail 4 key things in real estate, buyer management, vendor management, prospecting, and a listing presentation, you are a black belt. You're bulletproof. Life is great forever if you can do those things.
If you're not 100% of where you are at the moment in your personal life and professional life, there's always improvements to be made, right? Take a note of all the speakers and everything that you learn. That will help you to review. Just review where your situation is and what are the things that you need to do to actually reset so then you can relaunch your best year yet. And then put those habits in place so then year after year after year, you can have a PB.
If I was starting today, I'd just call every single street which has a property listed, call them up, use ID for me, just say, look, one of your neighbours is just coming to market, would you like to know what the result is? Bang, you add 20 to 50 a day.
To have the work-life balance that you want, to hire the team to support you, you can never shrink yourself to greatness, to put the processes in place, to get good at getting good, to be the master lister, to be the master buyer's agent, to be the master in your whole processes. Hopefully there's some light bulb moments and say, I got it.
Don't think you're going to be able to reinvent the wheel. There's reasons why people put programs in place. That's because that works. It's because you've got to trust the process. You have to hotspot, you need to door knock, you need to build a profile, and you need to engage with your community.
Depending on where you are in your journey, just take that next step. Start small, don't bite off, more than you can chew, but just take that next step.
Being conscious in your leadership, the kinds of conditions that you provide in your team environment, how people leave at the end of the day, how they leave feeling, what they're thinking on a Sunday night with their families makes a difference, not just to how they feel, but to how they perform.
Within those top 5 things there, I've only achieved one of them, so that's a question that I'll come back to you with. But I needed to look after my health because I couldn't give away what I didn't have. And if I wasn't looking after myself, I can't look after my family. I needed to be home at least 4 nights a week for dinner with my family, and that would create trust and a better, teamwork environment. Funnily enough, golf is up there and I wanted to have a handicap of 3. Rather than setting $1 million GCI target, I just set it at a figure that I knew I was going to be happy at.
I wrote down a few notes at the start of the year. Every decision, every action, every thought, every routine, my diet, my reading, my tone, my reactions, my relationships. Does it make the boat go faster?
Is it going to make the boat go faster? I'll spend money. I don't want to waste it anywhere. I tell my team that. They help us save money because they know they're going to get it.
Please make sure you do your goal setting. Manos runs obviously brilliant goal setting, and work out what you're actually wanting to achieve for the year and reverse engineer it to an appraisal number. I don't worry about anything else. It takes care of itself, but you have to book it in. For the love of God, book it in, plan for the next year. That's it, but I'm writing 3 million next year. That's what's happening.
But I'm writing $3 million next year. Bless you. There's something about setting an intention. There's something about when you set your goals to actually put the actions behind it. I've always been fascinated about this industry because more often than not, it's not that we don't know what to do. It's more often that we need to bridge the gap between knowing what to do and actually doing it. That's the gap. Knowing to actually doing. Great story from Joel Hood. I'll just share a little bit. So Joel Hood started with us in 2015, just came across and joined Jared Carmen at the Mornington eView Group organisation. I remember it was his first year. He attended our first Black Salt conference. So we've only had one prior to the last three, and that was in 2015. There was about 70, 80 people in the room. We flew over Tom Hector and Phil Harris. Absolutely invaluable session. If there was anyone that was taking notes, it was Joel Hood. He took everything down. He listened to what Tom was, and Tom Hector, if you've listened to Tom Hector's talk and story, is a machine. And of course, Phil Harris, one of the great real estate agents in this country has ever produced. Articulate, able to convey messages extremely well. So imagine being in that room, having the privilege, one of your first training sessions, and you've got Tom Hector and Phil Harris. He went away and he implemented. And you can see, 2016, 994, 2017, 2018, it just goes up from there. And of course, COVID hit Victoria and the whole of Australia, and everything got locked down. Joel took a lifestyle change and made a decision to go to the Sunshine Coast and took a 2-year hiatus from listing and selling real estate. He actually joined our corporate team and he started listing and selling, listing agents, recruitment of agents. And after 2 years, he goes, Manos, I don't know how you do it. And he moved away and he goes, I'm getting back into the game. I said, fantastic. But he set an intention as well. He said that to me, it was around Easter time. I am launching on the 1st of August. And so he started making his plans. He started preparing, doing everything, all the content that's in these workbooks, that's what he was implementing. And he did not launch a day before, he launched on the 1st of August. Brand new area, different state. He moved to the Sunshine Coast. So he launched Joel Hood 2.0. Cold start. For the first 3 months, he wrote 205,000. That's pretty good going, isn't it? For the first 3 months from a cold start. Took him 15 months to write $1 million in GCI. Fast forward a couple of years, he presented at Black Salt last year, and he had just clocked over $2 million. He finished the year, 2024, with $2,239,000. Really good going. Yep. And then he set the intention. Those of us that were in the room last year, it was his last comment. For the love of God, plan. For the love of God, implement. And I'm writing $3 million. So how's he gone? November, he's written up to today 3.38 million. And that deserves a big round of applause. And for the full year, 3.65 million. But it's not about the GCI. There's something else that he said in that video, in his talk last year. Did anyone pick the magic in his talk? Who said that? He deserves, good on you, Jed. Jed, you got the first prize. Whatever the first prize is, Jed gets it. Can you give a round of applause? Appraisals. Okay? And that's what it's all about. You see, this business is emotional, but when you let mathematics be your business manager, it's absolutely impossible to fail. And I mean impossible. And it was interesting. So I'm communicating with Joel over the last couple of days to find out what his numbers were. And a quick SMS, and I said, how's your appraisal numbers? Straight away, 332. It wasn't a guess. It wasn't, let me work it out. It wasn't, Let me see, I think I've done approximately this. SMS, 332. That's the importance of intention. What will you end up with by the end of the year? He goes, well over a strong 350 plus, and he's likely to do 3.65 million. So a sensational, obviously, achievement. So shift happens when you start with intention. So when you leave today, I want you to have your intention written down, whatever it is. Adjust it later, but write it down. Jed, you were up, I'll say, how's your handicap going? 5, it's pretty good going. Round of applause. What was your GCI for the year? I should have worked that number. I think you're close to $1 million. I think you're well over the 750 mark. So a big round of applause to Jed as well. So shift happens when you start with intention. So to the person next to you, for 1 minute, just speak to what is your intention for 2026. Just talk amongst yourselves for 1 minute. I've got the countdown happening. What is your intention? Twenty seconds left. Okay, pens down. We'll come back to that a little bit later in my presentation. Shift happens when you stop hoping and you start tracking. So track what? Let numbers be your business manager. In front of you, you have the Hustle Playbook. You've got the 2026 yearly prospecting plan in place. So we need to track everything. You need to know your return on investment. And those of you that are attending tomorrow's implementation day, I've got some surprises for you in regards to some statistics that we're going to share with you that are going to be needle movers for your business. I'm so excited about it. Prospecting strategies that will move the needle. And as Fiona and Chris Henry say, make the boat go faster, because that's what it's about. Implementation. So let numbers be your business manager. One of your first homeworks that you need to do, and I encourage everyone to do it tonight if you have the time. I know it's going to be a big day of content, but I'd go through each page of that book tonight if you haven't already done so. It is the blueprint to actually launch a real estate career, relaunch a real estate career, and keep you on track. So let's just talk about some fundamentals. Where are you on this income ladder? Let's just talk about what sales translate in regards to the average Australian earner and the opportunity that we have. So if you're doing 9 sales in Australia today as a sales agent, you're at the national average income earner. 24 sales, you hit the top 10% of income earners in Australia. 48 sales, you're earning more than the Prime Minister of Australia. 3% wage earners. And then the 1% high net wealth earners. Anyone that's doing 96. And I'm talking about some benchmark average numbers. But that's where the number is. And I remember talking with my accountant who deals with a lot of high net clients. And we share, obviously, some statistics from real estate and performers and so forth. And he falls over in regards to what the potential is in this business. But you know what the difference is too between the high net individuals and real estate agents? Real estate agents don't often treat it as a business, as a top 5% business in Australia. And that's what we need to change our mindset to. Shift happens when you follow process and you do the work. So, of course, everyone sets goals, but I want to list 5 this month is very different to a standard. I don't finish the day without 5 conversations. So that's the standard, because you can't get the result unless you do the activity. Measure activity before and the results will follow. The one thing that Joel said in that presentation, I only track my appraisal numbers. His appraisal numbers, as we've mentioned, the 332, 29 on average per month. It's going to be an interesting statistic when I share a couple of other slides. So, I've got a couple of these. This is a document, The Listing Machine by James Tossovin. It was an investment. Maria got into real estate a year before I did. And during her first year of real estate, she went to a training conference. There was about 40 people that were attending. The ticket price was for 2 hours, $195. I was in hospitality. When she told me $195, I fell over. I said, are you kidding me? And then I did the maths. 40 people, $195, $8,000. This guy's going to get $8,000 for 2 hours worth of work. He goes, I don't think they keep all of it. They do provide some lunch and everything. So I'm thinking, oh, that's interesting. But anyway, that was her first training session, and she brought back these notes, 44 pages. I've got a couple of copies here. We'll share it with everyone a little bit later. But really, really interesting. That's how they were photocopied. So it wasn't anything polished. So James Tossovin, for those people who don't know, top 5 agent in Australia, year in, year out, top 10 definitely, and he has been doing that since the 90s, right? So 1 year later, when I lost my bet and got into real estate with Maria, as many people know, and I used to come to work in a denim suit because the last thing I wanted to do was be a real estate agent and talk to people and do all that thing, all those sorts of things and stand at opens. We obviously had to make it work and got committed. And this was lying on a desk at the office. I said, okay, maybe I should read it, right? Maybe we should hear what this guy says. And 44 pages, I picked out just a couple. So, on page 2, what I'm about to describe to you is close to the perfect follow-up system is so ridiculously easy, you'll regret not doing some of these things earlier. Follow-up, if done thoroughly, is incredibly time-consuming, monotonous, almost boring at times, but when I think about how much money it has made me, it is exciting. That's a pretty good comment, isn't it? Right? So I'm reading this, I'm thinking, okay, follow-up is important. So then I turn to another page, and this is the one. I've always been into the maths, right? Even from my hospitality days, and this is what really I highlighted. Intention. I need to achieve 150 listings in 1997-98, and he did this presentation in 2002, so it was the same presentation 5 years later. This will equate to 1.1 million in gross fees, and this is how I'll achieve my goals. Out of every 10 appraisals conducted, I will list approximately 43%. Therefore, I need to conduct the following number of appraisals. 345 each year, less 6 weeks for holidays, 29 each month, 7.5 each week. So what was Joel's average appraisal number? 29. Okay. So, and statistically, 23 appraisals a month gets you to the $1 million bracket. Now, I'm not saying that everyone aspires to be $1 million agent, so that's not what it's about. These 2 days is about achieving your personal best for next year. Because all we should be doing is measuring ourselves against ourselves, not the leaderboards. The leaderboards are there to motivate us and to tell us what's possible, who's breaking the 4-minute mile. Because we need someone to be doing that, to inspire us and say, if they can do it, so can I, if that's your goal. But it needs to be your goal. So, shift happens when you avoid the hard stuff. So, this is a really good story. Rejection, price conversations, follow-up, awkward calls. I really struggled with it when I first got in. I probably struggle with it still today. Who likes to get a no? We're in the same room. Lucky. What I've learned is we've got to get good at getting good. Okay, it's not about thinking that rejection and all those difficult calls and the fallovers and a vendor not accepting an offer and then a buyer calling off is ever going to stop. It's not. We are dealing with emotions, and to deal with emotions, we've got to get good at getting good and dealing with those. Black Salt's agent coach could be your one-on-one coach. And talking with a couple of team members, my brother in particular, my twin brother, he goes, Manos, I did my whole listing presentation using Black Salt, and I got Black Salt AI coach to critique my listing presentation. Now, of course, it doesn't replace the face-to-face, but what it does, it gives you instant. And there's a lot of people who are uncomfortable doing role plays. So this is a great opportunity now with AI to help people do role plays, especially on the go, on the fly. So, rejection, the emotional IQ, a lot of people get challenged with it. I certainly am one of those, okay? Especially when I first got into real estate. I remember losing my first listing, and Maria sent me home for 4 days because I was so upset about it. I could not believe they didn't give me the listing. Number 6 Minton Court. You can tell I'm not over it. Right, okay. But I put this post up back in 2020 during the COVID period. Something happened during that period, and someone really effing pissed me off, right? They did something, and it really peed me off, right? So at that time, I was writing daily quotes, and I said, well, let's just talk about this one. Because what I have learned is that sometimes it takes someone to really piss you off to be the catalyst to get you going, and we should be thanking them. It's not about getting even, it's not about getting better, it's about getting bitter, it's about getting better. And I'll share a story. 4 years ago, one of our keynote speakers, can't wait to see Lyndall come up on stage. I've seen her presentation, an extraordinary agent, top number 1 in regional, top 20 in female across Australia. So big round of applause to Lyndall. So as everyone knows, we support agents launching their own brand, etc., etc. Lyndall was going through that journey, reached out to us, and we had our discovery calls and, doing the will you list with me presentation and so forth. And she said no. She went to a competitor. And that really paid me off, right? I went home and I said, Maria, we weren't lucky with Lyndall. She's chosen someone else. And that really got to me. It really got to me. Sat down and she goes, what'd she say? She said, we weren't sexy. About those words. We weren't sexy enough for her. And Maria looked at me and she goes, honey, I still think you're sexy. And I said, thank God we got the bedroom right. Now we've just got to work on the business, right? We've got to work on the business. So from that point on, we've got to, I said, okay, what do we do? We had to strip everything that we were doing. I said, okay, this is an important lesson. What are we going to do? At the time, we were called EV Group. We weren't called Agents Agency. 3 months, so I sat down with Maria, sat down with the corporate team and said, hey guys, we're in this, we've got an identity crisis out there. Really looked at what we were doing and I said, our business has evolved, but we haven't evolved with it. So we need to make some changes. And so I went back to the drawing board, pulled our business apart, pulled it back together. 3 months later, we rebranded to Agents Agency. And of course, 3 years later, our business has tripled in size. We just clocked over 1,000 sales in the last 60 days and over $1 billion in property sales. So for me, it's a big thank you to Lyndall. We didn't get bitter. We didn't try to get even. We just got better. And it's a valuable lesson. And in this business, we are always going to be challenged. Okay, shift happens when you move today, not on Monday. We don't need more information. We need implementation. And these are the three essentials. If you were telling me if I was going to start in real estate today, this is what I'd be doing. Intention. It all starts with your why and what you put out there. I'm writing $3 million next year. That's intention. Speed of action, guys. Speed of reply, it's a measurable KPI. All the statistics are pointing to a speed of reply. This is the consumer saying it to us. And of course, omnipresence, consistency and repetition of activity. And we'll be talking a lot about that tomorrow. Okay, last slide. We talked about intention. I asked a few people to write down, I'll ask all of you to write down what your intention. Who's ready to step up, come up on this stage? I need 3 people, time permitting. The first 3, come up to the stage, look in the camera and say your intention. Whether it's GCI, whether it's a personal goal, whatever it is for 2026, what's your intention? So we can put you up on camera next year because you set it out there. Only 3 people, first 3, let's go. Steve, come on up. So we need a mic, thank you. Look straight down the camera.
We're going to do 140 appraisals.
Fantastic.
We're going to write $2 million, and I am keeping $1 million to myself.
Profit. Love it. And the beautiful Jess Waits from Townsville.
We will write $2 million in GCI as an office, and 1.5 of that will come from me directly.
Well done.
She cut in front of me. I am wearing a black sold outfit. We're doing 1.8 in GCI without me because I'm stepping off the tools. So that's what the team's going to write without me. Not rely on me for
Love it. Thank you. Guys, with intention, okay? So throughout the day, if you want to have your own intention, if you want to verbalise it and be at the front of the cameras today in the booths and so forth, the team's wondering, say it down the camera, save it on your phone, revisit it, go away from these 2 days, do your planning sessions. We'll be doing a lot more talking about it tomorrow. Guys, let's have an extraordinary 2 days. Thank you so much. Can't wait for the balance of the 2 days.